Hi guys, how's everyone doing? I'm currently here in my municipality's conference room preparing for a training I'll be conducting with several local houses in the area about reservoir cleaning, chlorine treatment, and other things. So stay tuned for that. Okay guys, so if you're curious, this is a Capacitación training session run by the municipality of the district to provide chlorine to different communities and help them and their houses learn how to properly chlorinate their water. There were several sessions in the Capacitación that went over several topics regarding water treatment. The session I ran in particular focused on how to calculate the exact amount of chlorine each house should be using in their reservoirs. To do this, I provided each house with an equation sheet that they could use to calculate the needed chlorine themselves. These sheets were provided to me by another volunteer, which were made by the ATM they were working with, so as to make these calculations easier to understand. To calculate how much chlorine to use, you first need to calculate the flow rate of the reservoir by measuring how long it takes to fill up a bucket. Do this 3 times and take the average time. For this case, let's say the flow rate is 1 liter per second. We also need to calculate how long we want the chlorination to last in seconds. For context, a day is equal to 86,400 seconds. With this information, we can use an equation with certain constants to determine the amount of chlorine needed. A flow rate of 1 liter per second times 86,400 seconds times the desired concentration of 1.5 milligrams of chlorine per liter of water divided by 70% purity times 10 is equal to 185.1 grams of chlorine needed per day. And done. Woo! 30 of these equation sheets ready to go for the Haas. That did take longer than I expected, but they're done. So now, see you back in the meeting. So during my session, I was able to hand out these equation sheets and explain to the different Haas members present how to use them. However, it was also during the session that some people started complaining about the need to put chlorine in the water. Many people that I've worked with in the region have an idea that if water comes from a natural spring, they don't need to treat it because there's no way it can be contaminated. In this session, a Haas member expressed this view, and I responded the best way I possibly could. In order to convince someone to adopt a new perspective, you can't simply argue with them, as it will never work. Instead, I always try to see it from their perspective, understand where they're coming from, and try to build some trust. In this case, I explained that while it is very possible that the water they have might not be contaminated, water treatment is simply a preventative measure to make sure nothing bad happens if the water might be contaminated now or maybe in the future. It's true that chlorinated water may taste slightly different and it requires time and money to implement, but it also reduces the risk of any parasite, bacteria, or other nasty critter in our water, making it safer to drink for both us, our kids, and our community. And I think that's worth it. At the end, the Haas member in question seemed to accept my point of view, though maybe a little bit reluctantly. And this is definitely something I'll have to continue talking to people about and working with in the future while I'm here. But back to the Capacitación. I think it turned out to be a very good session. The turnout was high, several points about chlorination were talked about, and even the mayor of the district came to talk about his support for what was being discussed. So, overall, I'm very happy about what I was able to do. And while there's definitely more work to be done, I think this was a very good step in the right direction. Well, that's it for me. I hope you guys were able to learn something. But for now, thank you very much, and see you next time, okay? Bye!